Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Voices of Hult. Today's guest is Tara. She is an MBAN student and she is with us today here. Welcome here.
Welcome to Voices of Hult, Tara.
Thank you.
So please introduce a little bit yourself. Tell us a bit more about you.
Yes, so Tara, 24 years old, freshly coming from France, where I was born, where I grew up in the north of France, but during the last 5 years, I was in Paris for my study. And I also have origins in Democratic Republic of Congo and a bit from Portugal, where my parents come from.
Okay. So now you're studying MIB, which is Master in International Business, but then you are doing even a dual degree in Master in Finance here in Boston.
Yes.
So that's impressive, first of all, 2 masters, but you already...
Masters here.
Exactly, 2 masters here in Hult International Business School, but even 1 master, you already had it in the social sciences, right?
Exactly, yes. So I have started my study in Paris, and I have started with a program with different topics in literature and art. And then after 2 years, I went to the University of Paris, where I finished my bachelor and where I have started my master degree in social sciences. Yes.
Nice. And I know you're also the HSA for your cohort, right?
Exactly.
And how is that experience going?
Pretty interesting. So basically, I didn't came necessarily here with the goal to be an HSA, but I have been kind of pushed by the confidence that the other students inside of my cohort were giving to me. And I think that they have recognized some kind of leader into me. And I was also pretty excited by the fact that I could bring something to them. I love seeing people developing their talents. And yeah, so it's very interesting to see how everyone is evolving right now. And yes, I hope that we will just finish this year.
Yeah. Nice. And what is your specific role or responsibility as an HSA? Like, what is it to be an HSA? I don't know if everyone is aware what is it to be an HSA. We've had different HSA representative here, but for you, what is it? Like, what is your main task?
What is your mission?
So for me, it consists in representing the student and bringing their concern and being their voice, basically. Voices of Hult. Yes, this is what it represents, but also for me, it's being able to bring a positive energy because it's not always easy, and it's a pretty intensive program that we have here, and especially the MIB. We are covering different topics. We do marketing, we do finance, and I just try, to be present for people and being available in case they have any concern and transmitting the good information, I would say. And eventually participating in organizing good parties where they can have fun.
So the HSS also organize parties.
And I'm telling you, you have done a great job so far. Well done.
So basically, as an HSA, you are connecting with people, right? And I also know you don't speak 1, you don't speak 2, you speak 5 different languages, right? So what are the languages you use?
Hold on. I always need to say this. Not all of them fluently. Because then everyone will be like, okay, start a conversation in this. I can have a conversation in all of those languages. But yeah, so I speak French, obviously. This is my native language. Yeah. Then I speak English that I have learned from school. I also speak Spanish, un poquito.
Oh, mira.
And then I speak Lingala from Democratic Republic of Congo. It's one of the language. And I also speak Korean. So not fluently, but this is a language that I have learned by myself. I started by myself in 2019, I think, because I was discovering the Korean culture with the music. Not K-pop, I'm not a BTS fan.
For all the fans of BTS.
For all the fans of BTS. But just, I was discovering another culture, and also I wanted to know more about it. So I was watching documentary, reading books, and the turning point was actually that I love singing, and I wanted to sing in Korean. And I have discovered that the Korean alphabet is very, very easy to learn. There is a proverb that says, someone who is not intelligent can learn it in 1 week, and someone intelligent can learn it in 1 hour. I think this is the proverb, yes. So I have learned the alphabet, and at that time, I was struggling with my studies. So it was something that made me joyful because every day I was learning something new, and I was finally able to understand the song that I was singing.
Nice. Yeah. Well, my question now would be like, and in how long did it take you to learn the Korean alphabet?
It's never finished. If you take my phone right now, you will see that my phone is in Korean. Yeah.
Wow.
Never read that.
It took me. Actually, the thing which is very surprising is that it took me less time to develop the proficiency that I had compared to English, because I was learning from the series, the music. Yeah. So maybe I can say in 2 years, I was able to, having a conversation or say like normal sentences, I want to say, but I keep learning it. It's a lot about creating an environment.
Yeah, so from Tara's stories, we can learn that A, we cannot read her phone, and B,
at least if you're Korean,
and B, that self-determination, like, you know, like can teach you everything. Like, as you were saying, not just, you know, looking or listening to music and watching some movies, but even really determining yourself, taking and saving some time of your day to teach something that you're really passionate about. That's important and very interesting.
And it's also very addictive, I want to say, because you start with something very small, and then like you understand one word, and then you want to understand the sentence. And also I was talking with people online, Korean, who were learning French, and me who was learning Korean. And so I was able to be in conversation with them. So it was very addictive. It's almost like when you learn a music instrument. I have the same feeling when I learn piano. I'm like, you do a couple of notes, you recognize the song, and you want to do everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. And we are talking about connecting with people through languages now, and learning about different cultures and stuff. I'm pretty much aware that you've had an international experience before.
Yes.
In your first master's, I would say, or was it in your bachelor where you were?
Yeah, so in France, the master is 2 years. So during the second year, I have chosen to go to Ireland, in the south of Ireland. It wasn't my first time in Ireland because I have family living there.
Nice.
But it was my first time being in a city where they are not, and being by myself. And I was in Erasmus program. Yeah. So it's the program exchange in Europe where, you are in France, for example, you go in UK or...
you choose a different school and complete your studies there in a different university.
Exactly. So I had chosen Ireland because I wanted to improve my English, and it was also the opportunity to connect with people from different countries. And languages were very, very helpful because, at that time, maybe I could speak a little bit Spanish with other people, but what I really appreciate is the fact that when you show to people that you are making an effort to communicate with them in their languages, they open themselves, and I just love that. I had the same experience with Korean. Like, can you imagine someone who lives in a country of maybe like 20 million people, and it's the only place where they speak this language, and someone who they don't know from another part of the world come and talk into their language? Like, you really got interested into me, And I had also this in Ireland. It was a very good experience.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. But then I wonder, how did you discover then Hult between all your different experiences? And you're, as you know, a curious girl. How did you get interested in Hult?
Yeah, so actually, Hult, the United States, wasn't my destination, really. I wanted to go in South Korea because I had interest into this, but I was rejected. But it was like a door closed and another one open. Yeah. So when I was doing my application for South Korea, it was the pandemic, and the pastor of my church, who really cares about the year of studies inside of the community, introduced me to Hult. So during the pandemic, I was watching the Hult Virtual Skill Lab. This was the name. I have watched maybe 5 of them, and you had teachers from all over the world from Hult campuses who was touching different topic, and it was about the pandemic. So about like how to be resilient. There were something about resilience. I actually remember Professor Pamela Campagna talking, and I still have the note. And so
we have interviewed her. Yes. So like, please check out even our episode, I will say, to learn more.
Yeah, and what really surprised me is that it was a business school, but the way they were talking about the the business was different. They were really addressing the issues that we had at that time, and they were considering the problems in different dimensions. And this is really something that matters for me because of my background in social sciences. I always take a problem and I say, okay, I try to look like the different way it is connected to different dimension, the economic side, the social side, environmental side. And I love the fact that they were forward looking and they were not just like, okay, we are creating values, but how do we define this value and what we can bring to the world?
Yeah, I do totally agree. And this behavioral economics, like behavioral business that Hult is trying to teach us is pretty impressive. And it got me as well in the Hult webinars that I looked. It was mostly the same situation because I do remember I was on my place and I was still uncertain what to do with my future. You know, I just finished, this semester with this year, my bachelor, and I was like, okay. And I started to look at the different classes that Hult was offering. And this aspect really got me, but as well, for example, the cross-cultural communication that you can develop here. As we were always saying, Hult is our world inside world building. So like you can really learn a lot from your peers, from the communication, as we were talking even before, from the languages of the other people, and from the attitude, as even in the previous episode we were talking with our guest Dev, the attitude of learning with the others that maybe have a different experience from yours, professional and even personal one.
Yes.
So Tara, from this background of social sciences, now you're jumping to business. How do you think all this knowledge or these practical and behavioral business skills that you're gonna be developing here in Hult, how do you think Hult is gonna help you connecting, or how are you connecting this with your background? Like, what do you want to do with this?
This is the $1 million question.
Really?
Because this really was my purpose coming here. I said, I have this knowledge in social sciences. I have a big critical gaze, and especially also because I come from France and we love criticizing things, which is sometimes a good and bad thing. And how do Hult help me here is that first thing, yes, the art skills and what I learned from finance, for example, what I learned from design thinking. Like I learned how to create things, I want to say. And this is magic because if you identify the problem, then you say, you ask yourself, what can I give as an example? Maybe, I don't know, on health, you say, okay, how can I enhance people's health? And you realize that what people do is inside of business, okay? So they want to practice sport or they want to feed themselves this. And then you ask yourself, okay, why is it not working correctly? So I associate the analytic part and also the empathy that I got from social sciences, I want to say. But the second thing, and which is something I cannot have in every school, I want to say, is how I learn to work with different people. And every time people from back in France ask me, is it hard? I tell them, like the class is the class, you can always learn. But something very hard is learn how to work with other people. And this is the most challenging, but I think this is also where I benefit the most because each person is different, and the difference shouldn't be something that will divide you, but needs to be something that
you can learn from, and you can build something together with it.
There's really something to win behind those differences. And when I talk about differences, it's not just like the cultural differences, because Lydia come from Italy, and when we will come together, she will bring pasta. No, I'm not talking about this. It's really about your personality, and how the story of your life makes you the person that you are, and how we can build something together.
Exactly. And I was saying, like, on this line, I think that you're talking even about networking in the sense that it's difficult to work with other peers, and it's difficult even maybe to approach with the other ones. And like, why did you choose Boston? Even, I guess, for this aspect.
Yes. Because actually, yes, I choose Boston because of the cultural diversity that I know I will find in the US. And something I have really experienced here is that networking experience is very different. Like, people are so open, ready to get into the conversation, and you have so many different events. So I really love this. But coming here, I have realized that this experience of connecting with people it's not the same in every part of the world. Because, for example, in France, it's also very, very diverse, but not the same. Whereas the US, sometimes I feel like, from the little experience that I have here, sometimes you have more community, but in France it's like very hybrid. You will see, I grew up in neighborhood where, on the right house you have someone coming from Algeria, on the left you have someone coming from Senegal, and we mix everything. When it is the Ramadan, you go to your friend's house, and even like the music is very hybrid. And so overall, what I want to say is that, yes, I love this networking culture, and this is what I look for, but I also realize that it is not just like, you need to let people come to you and to interest to them genuinely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Boston is a really good city to do networking. Mm-hmm. And I think the networking experience depends of each individual, and also the people you finally end up talking to and where to. Like, there's a lot of students here, and I think like there's a lot of people here trying to do networking, different companies. Mm-hmm. You just have to go out there and try to make it. Of course, there's going to be different ways and perspectives of how this works. But I think like Boston is a really good city to start doing it. Mm-hmm. And I've done networking here, inside of Hult, outside of Hult. I think mostly outside of Hult, I would say. And I love the city. I just think like, even because it's a sports city, and
it's so good.
I don't know, like in my opinion, and I'm sorry, I think Boston campus is the best. I'm not biased at all, but I think Boston campus is
not
the best.
Biased, okay? Not biased. Yeah, no, I do totally agree with this. And I agree mostly on the aspect that it's like your experience, you can make the most out of it if you really want to. Yeah. But then I wonder, like, what is your experience here at Hult? Mm-hmm.
So, yes, my experience is, on campus, outside of campus. Sometimes people ask me, okay, what do you do when you have free time? You know, for me, I spend a lot of time on this campus studying, and actually, I love it. I came here for this, so this is not a big deal for me. So my experience here is mostly about my classes. But when I say about my classes, it's really like going deep into it and discovering like something that would shape the vision that I have of the world. But it's also simply connecting with people here, spending time, sometimes cooking for them, or the different thing like this, and just laughing with people in the daily life. Here, you walk in the corridor, I always have someone to greet and to start a conversation with every time. Yeah, and also
we know about that. But you're even the president of the Readers Club. What is the mission of this club?
This takes a lot of my time.
Don't talk me about that.
But that's one thing that happens in every campus. You always get the opportunity to start a club and to build your networking
too, right.
And to push your passion and stuff. So you are the president of the Readers Club.
Yeah.
What are you doing as your president of the Readers Club? What is the club
President. So the initiative has started like that. So before coming here, I knew that I wanted to do something with clubs or take this opportunity. And reading is really something that I like, but that I don't necessarily like read. I don't have like a big library, or I don't read like 100 books per year as people can think. I have built also this club for me. I was like, we will read a book every month, and that will motivate me to read more. Yeah. And the purpose behind this was that we want to empower people through reading. That means that reading is such opportunity that we have in this world. I say that in one book, you can discover what someone has. It took like years and years for someone to figure out. And like you learn so much. You learn about others, you learn about you. You can learn something new. This is how I have learned Korean, through books. And the purpose is really to empower people and also to share, because the thing is that even though we read the same book, we all have different perspective on it. And inside of the club, what we have is that every month we choose a book, and we have discount on this book. And then we gather and we have sharing sessions, which are facilitated by Vanessa and Lauren.
Shout out to them.
And yes, we started a conversation. For example, the last reading was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And we talked about, self-development and how it is linked to business. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that, like, Hult giving the opportunity to build really a project is something extremely interesting. And
I think just invite everyone who's interested in reading to reach out to Tara.
Come.
Yeah, so I'm sure that you will have a lot of questions for like your exactly. No, mostly like for the books as well that we were talking about this, that you will read and that you ask to people. But now we do have a question for you from our previous guest. That is, what would be one impactful emotion that you would live into this world?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would be?
So I have picked it up. I think that the emotion that I want to live is hope, I would say, because and especially in those times, there are so many crises.
Yeah.
And as I told you, I have spent so many years in my life studying crisis through social sciences. And also I have chosen to come into business to fix those problems. But overall, I always think that if there is a problem, there is a way, there's an opportunity to create a solution. And I think hope for the world, but also hope for people themselves. Self-confidence, it's so important. And this is what I have experienced through learning Korean, for example. I was in the middle of like so many struggle and seeing that, I was able to progress in something. I was like, you have big value. Sometimes you underestimate yourself, and I think each person needs to be able to recognize the unique value that she or he has. So yes, hope
to our audience, therefore. Please reply even to this question. And what would be one question that you would like to ask to our next guest? Now you have your opportunity to make your question.
You can do it, huh?
Yeah. So I thought about it, and my question will be the next one. If you had the opportunity to be listened by the whole world for, let's say, 15 minutes at the TV or whatever, what will be the subject or the issue you would address? Yes, that's my question.
Wow.
I have a dream. Oh, yeah.
The way to start a speech was written like days ago. I have a dream.
Exactly.
That was not on the speech, but wow, that's how it happens.
Well, that's what I dreamt yesterday night.
Yes, literally. Yeah. So nothing. We leave all the audience with this question. We invite you and encourage you to think about it. And if you want to share your answer on the comments, go for it.
Thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you, Tara, for recording this episode
with us. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
A big pleasure.
Well,
bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.